The kids loved it. It was an overnight camp for 10 days, $5 to go. The kids slept there. They thought it was just fantastic. Well, a couple of years later, the girls started crying about, that's not fair. Girls can't go to this camp, but boys go to this camp. So they started having a session for girls. On one of the girls' sessions, there were 2 boy sessions, then it was a girl session, another girl session, then a boy session. But one of the boys who didn't understand the fact that it was not the time for the boys, it was a girl session, decided he's going to go to camp anyway. He probably didn't really realize it was a girl session, I'm not really sure. So we walked across the Newport Bridge. All across the bridge. The bridge authorities called me and said, there's a young boy over here who's walking to camp. I said, ask him, is his name Terrence? And they asked me, and why did I feel it was Terrence? Because I know how much Terrence liked camp. All the kids liked camp, but Terrence was insisting he was going to go to camp every session, whether it was a girls' session or a boys' session. So I had to go over to the bridge authority, to the office over there, and pick up Terrence. Now that's one story, and that's so true. You can't make this stuff up. Another story is there were different pickup sites for the kids. There was one at the Martin Luther King, in front of the Martin Luther King Center. There was one at Tarnaby Hill, on the corner of my Aunt Nomi and Hillside Avenue. And there was also one in Chapel Terrace neighborhood. At the Martin Luther King Center, the kids were lined up, and Mr. Joseph Sheehan, who was the director of the camp at the time, said to me, Pauline, he says, there's a kid out here, his name's not on the list. He said, you don't usually forget somebody's name. I said, no. He said, they said his name is Al. I said, oh, that's Al Ziegler. No, I didn't recruit him. Al was out there with a suitcase. Well, unbeknown to me, Al had left home on his own. So I said, well, Mr. Sheehan, you got an extra bed over there. Just let him go. Let him go. So he went. I called Al Ziegler's grandmother, Miss Marie Ziegler, and I said, Miss Marie, where's Al? She said, I don't know. He left here, and I haven't seen him. Well, come to find out, he had left home unbeknown to Mrs. Ziegler. So I called to the camp, and I said to Mr. Sheehan, I said, let him stay, just let him stay, and when he comes back home, his grandmother will deal with him. That's Al Ziegler's story. The other story is about a young kid who, the age was 8 to 12 years old. This kid had turned 13, I'm going on 14. He said, Miss Pauline, please, 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 please. He says, can I go one more year? I said, you can't go, Chris. I said, because if I let you go, every other 13, 14-year-old, they're going to want to go back to Camp Ramleh too. You know how you guys love Camp Ramleh. He said, oh, please, please, please. I said, no, I'm sorry, Chris. Well, come today to pick up the kids at the site out in the Tarnaby Hill neighborhood. A couple of kids picked up this big old duffel bag and threw it in the back of the van. And then I noticed the bag started moving. And I thought, oh, no. I said, what's in that bag? Oh, nothing, just, some balls are probably rolling around. Well, I said, open the bag up. Open the bag up, and sure enough, there's Chris Gray. He was insisting that he was going to go to camp. It was almost funny, okay? And I said to Mr. Sheehan, anybody that goes to those measures and sleeps is laying in a duffel bag just so he can go to Camp Ramleh must really want to go to camp. So he did. So they let him go that particular year. My little son Eddie, he was much younger than these kids. One day he was at one of the stops, and they said to him, oh, he's so cute. He was 5. Can you ride with us over to camp? We'll bring him back over. So after they made all their stops, 3 or 4 stops they have in this city to pick up the kids, they went across that bridge. That's before the bridge was built, before they had a bridge. This was a raggedy metal bridge they had at that time. So Eddie went over to camp with them, and next thing I know, a couple hours later, they called, they said, Eddie really doesn't want to come back home. He wants to stay over here with these kids. I said, but they're all much older than him. He's only 5. They're like, 10, 11, 12. They said, yeah, but can we come get some clothes for him? And, his toothbrush and his towel. So that's what they did. So that's what Eddie stayed for a whole week, over a week, for the boys from Camp Ramleh. It was a fun camp. The kids loved it.